Welcome to Gentle Restorative this morning. My name is Sandra, and as always, I want you to start out in your most comfortable seated position and close your eyes. Now, before you do anything else, before you even take that fabulous big breath to settle into your space, I want you to acknowledge how the body is feeling, maybe more importantly, how the mental body is feeling. So just take a moment to do that. Let's not be fearful of acknowledging what comes up, or let's not be fearful of acknowledging what we know we're pushing down. Yeah? So the theme for this class is about anxiety and different ways we can maybe work to combat that a little bit. Ooh, combat's a bad word. Resolve that. So let's just feel what's going on for a moment. So anxiety could be defined as the consequence of worry or fear, and it has this uncanny ability to manifest in the physical body as actual diseases or ailments, right? And so you might suddenly find that you have this crazy ailment going on in your body and you can't figure out what it's attached to. It very well could be anxiety. And I was thinking, now that we've all been in lockdown for beyond the 30-day mark, different things are arising. I wanted to put anxiety out in the open, give you some tools to use if that seems to be distressing you or somebody else. Now that we've acknowledged what the body's feeling mentally and physically, go ahead, take a deep inhale, hold it. Big exhale through the mouth. Close your eyes if you opened them up. Do another scan real quick through the body and through the brain. Another deep inhale. Hold the breath. Cleansing exhale. When you hear me say cleansing exhale, I really want you to think about how you're actually cleansing your system. Is it okay to release those worries and fears that are creating the anxiety? Only you know the answer to that. But I guess what I am going to try to impart upon you in this theme is that while anxiety does take over sometimes and manifest into things we feel in our body, we do actually have control over our thoughts, and we can use some tools to help that all subside. So, one more deep breath in, hold it. Cleansing exhale, let it all go. You might even pause to notice here that maybe you already even feel better. We're going to inhale, take the arms up. Bring the palms together. Exhale them to the heart. And set your intention for your practice. When you're done, go ahead, release the hands. So we're going to be doing a few different techniques today. We're going to be focusing a lot on the breath because The breath and being in the present are going to help us figure out how to move some of the worry and fear aside. But for the time being, left hand in front, right hand behind you. Push the ground away to find your length. Turn the heart towards that right knee, and then walk your way down into a fold over that leg. And close your eyes. So starting to deepen the breath, feeling how the body is in a twist here. That solar plexus, which is right above the belly button, that's the energy center that deals with control issues, right? Anxiety has a lot to do with control issues because we realize we have zero control. So if we can start twisting out that energy center, we allow it some reprieve. So noticing where you feel the stretch, which is probably somewhere off in the left side or maybe towards the back on the left side. If it is enough of a stretch, stay right here. If you feel like, well, I might be able to deepen this a little, you might walk the hands or forearms just a tad more to the right. Breathe into where you feel the stretch. Good job. Deep inhale. Hold it. Cleansing exhale. And then very slowly use your hands to push you back up. Come back to center, close your eyes. Just feel that for a moment. Okay, right hand in front, left hand behind you. Again, use the ground to help you lengthen the spine. Turn the heart toward the left knee. When you're ready, peacefully make your way down. And then again, decide if you should stay here or if you want to walk around to the left just a teeny bit more. You might really feel that difference. Send the breath to where you feel it. When you're ready, take a strong inhale. We're going to hold it. Big exhale. And gently make your way back up to center. Close your eyes and just feel that. So if I were to ask you to take your awareness to your breath, I want you to notice where your mind goes. This is not a trick question. It's going to be different for each of us. So some of you might be responding with, well, I feel it in my abdomen. You might be feeling it higher up in the chest. You might have gone straight to the actual feeling of the breath coming in through the nose. So that's where your attention is. It could be somewhere totally different, right? I want you to stay with your answer. So for me, yeah, I do have some stress and anxiety that's been culminating this week, and perhaps that's why I chose this theme. So my breath for me right now is not in its yogic place, it is in the chest. And that's where I'm going to take my focus, because if I'm going to acknowledge what's going on, I have to be completely honest. My mind might want to say, oh, come on, you know the breath should be lower, get it down into the abdomen. That's not my truth, right? So acknowledge where you feel it. Keep your eyes closed. And then I want to suggest something a little different than usual. Instead of telling you to keep your focus on the breath, I want you to take your focus inside the breath, whatever that means to you. So for me, I'm going to go deeper into the heart center, almost as if I could find the center of my inhale. Can you find the very beginning of that breath? And then, since you're in the center of the breath, can you feel it expanding and retracting around you? So stay with that for a moment. I like that technique. I like that idea because it feels like the breath as it surrounds you is protecting you. It feels comforting rather than I have to keep my focus on the breath and the breath is what is happening to me, right? Stay with that a moment, but add a soft smile to your face, acknowledging that this is just a great place to be. We're going to come back to this feeling. Good job. On your next inhale, take the arms up. Bring the palms together and exhale them to your heart. Fabulous. So we're going to release the hands, release the focus within the breath. We'll come back to it. And then just take the legs, drape them off to your right side, however is best for you. We're going to be coming into a fold to the left. So if you need a prop there to catch you, like your bolster or your blanket, that's totally fine. Let's try sitting up. Take that twist, again, twisting the solar plexus where we have those issues of control, and then walking our way down. So if walking your way down to you means the hands move forward about a foot and you stay right here, that's great. It might mean, well, no, I can make it down to my forearms. That's fine too. If you can come down lower, it's all up to you. You're listening to your back, to your side where you're feeling that twist. But find your happy place and close your eyes. And so while you're here, I want to attach a couple of words to the breath. Excuse me. On your inhale, I want you to say to yourself, incoming. And on your exhale, outgoing. Super easy, right? I breathe in, I say incoming. I exhale, I say outgoing. Work with that for a moment, and then I'll tell you why. then if you're all the way down on the floor or on your forearms, can we come back up into the hands here for a moment? Staying in this twist, just play. That might mean a little upper body movement or just accentuating that twist. It might mean, you just prefer to go down towards the earth and maybe you round your way back up. Or maybe it's with the head. Maybe you're turning the head to look over that left shoulder and then letting the head sweep through. Maybe it's a combination of all three. Oh my gosh. Find what works for you. We're just playing here. And when you're ready, we're going to start to come back to center. I don't know about you, my spine is totally ready to be rebalanced. And just pause there for a moment. Deep breath in. Hold it. Cleansing exhale. We're going to switch the legs to the other side. Finding some balance. So again, anytime you're twisting, you definitely got to lengthen first with the inhale. So that we'll do that, and then we're going to turn to the right and walk our way down. And again, your fold is whatever works for you. And so then I want to talk about incoming and outgoing. It was almost too simple, right? Obviously the breath is coming in and obviously it's leaving. So why even bother saying that? The reason is because I wanted it to start to become second nature, because I want to attribute those words to the thoughts. So when something pops into your mind during our yoga session that has nothing to do with yoga, it can be anything. It could be your cat walking past you and you just all of a sudden shift your focus, right? Take that thought and say, oh, it's incoming. But then on the next exhale, as you say outgoing, you send the thought off too. And so it's just a more conscious way of bringing our acknowledgement to those thoughts and then choosing to just gently give them a shove out of the way, right? And so we'll begin to apply that then with those thoughts of anxiety. You know, what's interesting, well, for me, let me use me as an example. Oftentimes when I am feeling anxious, I have to actually stop and think about why. I don't necessarily all the time know why I'm anxious, and then my mind goes on this reel backwards, right? Until I get back to what started it. That is so not being in the present moment, right? When you have to go back and figure it out why you're anxious. But when we can start attaching the reason to the anxiety, then we have more control over going, oh, you're outgoing. I hope that makes sense. So if you're happy as a clam where you are, no thoughts are popping in, stay with the breath, incoming, outgoing. If you do have some stuff to work through, let it come in, say incoming, and then send it off on its way. And then again, when you're ready, we're coming back up into the hands. If you weren't already perched on them, stay twisted to the right. And we find some playful movement, right? Because play does not necessitate control. It's fluid. It's spontaneous. It also kind of allows you to start figuring out what your body needs and how your body needs you to move. And then when you're ready, come on back to center. Let's bring the legs to center too, in whatever position you want to be, but just so we can reground here for a moment, coming out of those twists, find our balance. And then I want you to notice the breath again. It might be somewhere else. I immediately notice my attention went right to the nose and feeling the breath come in. Once you've located it, I want you to go back inside the breath. Feel the breath moving all around you in a full and complete circle. The inhale, just making the circle bigger. The exhale, gently bringing it back in. Perfect. Okay, let's open the eyes. Let's find a prop. We have, well, actually, any of them will work. I'm going to grab the blanket, I think. I'm going to just put it behind me. I've got it folded up quite a bit. So your bolster would also work. Your block would work. A pillow would work. And then I'm just going to lay back so that my low back is supported on whatever prop I chose. I'm staying perched up onto my elbows and my forearms. I am using the prop so that I am not caving and sinking downward. I have this neutral spine, lift to the heart. So from here, legs are bent, but we're going to put that right ankle right up on top of that left thigh. Flex the right foot, push that knee away from you. And then go ahead and scooch that left foot in a little bit closer. From here, well, let's make this option A. Option B is going to be to lift the left shin parallel to the ground. And then from there, I have leverage to push my legs in towards me. Breathe. Now, if this is too hard to do pigeon like this, or the neck does not want to hold itself up, you can move the prop out and lay back. That's totally fine. Couple more breaths. Good job. Set the feet back down, switch the legs up. Remember to flex the left foot, push the knee away from you. You can just scooch that right foot in and stay right there, or lift that shin parallel to the ground so you have leverage to really push on that left leg, getting it in towards you. And then slowly set the legs back down. Perfect. So go ahead and slide that prop out from underneath you. Come all the way onto your back, hugging the knees into the heart. And peacefully rock it out. Remember, any moment during this whole yoga sequence that you find yourself tuning me out and focusing on something else, try to bring your attention to that thought, label it as incoming, and then exhale it as outgoing. Okie doke. Let's take the arms, either open them out wide, or if you run into a wall like I'm going to, take the arms into scarecrow, or dropping the knees to the left. So if you need a prop to catch you, go ahead and grab it, or you can always back the knees away from you so that this is not as intense. Again, it is a twist, so Be conscious of just wringing out that need to have control. Close your eyes here. Notice where you feel the breath. So for me, it's moved again. Now I'm feeling it in my abdomen. I also want you to notice now where you don't feel the breath. So staying here for another moment. Option A, keep the legs bent. Option B, perhaps you straighten them out in front of you. That decision, that choice, is going to have to factor in a lot of things like the hamstrings and how the back is feeling in this twist. Can you still keep your right shoulder blade down on the earth? So if you straightened out the legs, let's go ahead and rebend them. And then take the top leg, the right one. Let's lift that one up first. It's more compassionate to the back. Let the left leg follow. Hug the knees back in. You decide if you want to stay still or rock this out. And then when you're ready, same thing on the other side. So either arms are open wide or they go to scarecrow. Gently drop the knees down to the right side. Determine how that's best for you. And close your eyes. And then again, if you want to, you can straighten out the legs in front of you. And then if you straightened out the legs, let's rebend them. Let's bring the left knee up first, then the right. Hug the knees back in. Deep breath in. Loud exhale. And then go ahead and roll this over to a side. We're gently pushing our way up because I want to set up for a restorative pose. So if you have a bolster, go ahead and grab that. At least one block, maybe two if you have them. And then let's grab the blanket as well. So of course, you can substitute any props that you need to. I'm going to set up my blocks behind me with the bolster propped up. And so if you have two blocks, mine's across the room and I don't feel like crawling over there to grab it, you could make this even higher and then put the second block in the middle to support it. Totally up to you how you want to be sitting up. So anyway, I'm going to scooch back. I want to have a little bit of space between me and the bolster. And then I'm going to have my blanket nearby. So go ahead and lay back. Feels good. And then we're just going to take that blanket and cover up with it for a moment. Get super comfortable. And just close your eyes. And so, you know, one thing that helps anxiety are those weighted blankets. And the reason is because it just feels like a hug. It's something that draws your mind to the present because you really feel the weight of it. And so I just wanted you to gently feel the weight of your blanket, bringing you to that present moment. It doesn't always have to be the breath. So I want you to feel the weight of the blanket. If you just tossed it across you, kind of like I did, and it's not covering your whole body, can you notice where the edges of the blanket are? Where it stops and starts, maybe on the leg? Do you feel where it stops and starts up by your neck or maybe on your shoulders? Where is that blanket touching your body and where is it not? So for instance, I don't feel it touching one of my hands. It seems to have created kind of a tent over my hand. But yet my other hand feels it resting on top. So just notice. How does that blanket feel on your breath? So the reason that mindfulness works with anxiety, or, you know, as one of the tools of mindfulness, bringing your mind to the present, is because we try to take the control back from those anxious thoughts that are trying to control us. We do have control over our thoughts. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way. That's why we're learning techniques in which to refocus that control. So what I want you to try next is stay where you are, and I want you to open your eyes. This is a great tool for somebody who's having a lot of anxiety or is even having like an anxiety attack. You could talk them through this. You can talk yourself through this. I want you to just kind of look around the room and to yourself, name 5 things that you see. Okay, that's easy enough, right? Perfect. Name 5 things that you feel. So you might reclose your eyes here so you can really take your focus to the sensations that the body is feeling. Nice. And then, you know, maybe this is a harder question because we're probably all in a very quiet space to practice yoga, but 5 things that you hear. And then because I want to cover all of the senses, I would then ask you, name 5 things that you smell. So if you are in a space where you literally just don't smell anything, how about 5 things you would like to smell that would be pleasant to you? And then same thing with taste. I don't want anybody choking in yoga, so no eating, but 5 things you would like to taste, and can you actually taste them? And so that's a great technique for keeping you in the present moment without having to focus on the breath. Now, if that starts to work, but you still don't feel quite as peaceful as you'd like, do it again, but you can't name or spot the same things you already mentioned. Now close your eyes. I don't know about you guys. I heard my stomach growling, and then I wanted to smell and taste pizza. So I'm feeling another theme coming up here. I think I know what lunch is. All right, deep inhale. Hold that breath. Say in your head, incoming. When you're ready to exhale, say outgoing. And then I'm going to plant my hands on the mat, turning my palms down. I'm going to use my arms to slowly push me back up. I'm going to keep the legs straight, and I don't even mind that the blanket stays where it is. Yeah? Okay. Take the arms up. Lengthen. Let's hinge forward into a fold. If you want to bend the knees, go ahead. I think I do this morning. I feel tight. And then let's just work our way back up. We'll set the blanket aside, as well as the props that are behind you. And let's come on into table when you are ready to do so. No hurry. Remember, if table bothers your wrists, you could come onto your knuckles, or you could use your blanket as kind of a wedge underneath the heel of the palm so your wrists aren't at 90 degrees. When you're ready, let's find cow. Inhale. Big exhale. Take it to cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Tuck the toes. Exhale, down dog. Walk it out when you get there. When you are ready, that right foot is going to step forward into lunge. Once you get comfortable and you've got that front knee over the ankle, you can set that back leg down. It's up to you if the toes stay tucked or if you want to release them so you're on the top of that back foot. If you need your blocks, they sure make this pose easier, right? All right, lift the heart. Big inhale. Exhale, slowly pull the hips back to straighten out that front leg. We're gonna try to keep the sole of the foot flat on the mat. If that is too much stretch on the top ankle, don't do that. Come onto the heel of the foot then, which I think is a little easier. It is for me. So come into a soft fold, pull the right hip back. When you get to an inhale, bring the hips forward, find that low lunge, lift the heart. Deep breath in. exhale, pull the hips back, come into that fold. And frankly, it doesn't even have to be a fold, right? It might just be pulling the hips back, and that's enough of a stretch. Hips are coming forward. Low lunge, lift the heart. On your next exhale, we're going to bring the hips back again, but this time, let's go ahead and flex that front foot. If you haven't already, it'll change this up just a little bit. And then come on back forward again. Hang on for a second. Option A is going to be pigeon. Yeah, the foot wiggles across the mat towards the left or towards the left hip. We get that back leg straight out behind us, right? If this is not good for you, flip on over. Pigeon on the back looks like this. It would be the right ankle on the left thigh, so you're stretching out the same leg as the rest of us, yeah? So you decide what works for you. If you are in your traditional pigeon, make sure the hips are level. If you need to put a prop underneath the right hip to keep your hips level, that is extremely helpful. And then let's come on down into a fold, whatever that might be for you. So once you settle into pigeon, if you find your thoughts going to, oh, hello, right hip, that is an incoming thought. Acknowledge it, incoming. Exhale, outgoing. The only time I want you to dwell on that is if the hip is saying, no, seriously, you need to move, because you really should listen to your body, right? If you need to make the pose more compassionate, that front foot, pull it back in towards the left hip a little bit more. The leg, just that right shin, does not have to be attempting to be parallel to the front of your mat. It's all based on your body. So whatever you're feeling in this pose, it is an acknowledgement of, yes, I feel that, but we're letting it go unless it is a thought that is signifying you need to move, change the pose, get out of it, even go to child's pose, right? And then once again, I would ask you to notice where you feel the breath. So again, in this pose, I'm feeling the breath at my nose. Once I figure that out, I want you to go back inside of the breath. So go deeper. I know you're doing a great job in whatever variation you've chosen for yourself. Would you please take a deep inhale and hold it? Big outgoing breath. Perfect. So if you flipped over onto your back for pigeon, you're just going to gently stretch your legs up to the ceiling like imaginary legs up the wall. If you are on the ground face down like I am, come back up into your hands. Tuck the back toes, lift the back leg, slowly downward facing dog. Let's work this out for a second. And then if you're in dog, take it to child's pose. If you're on your back, hug your knees into the heart. For those of you who are on your back, hugging the knees in Apanasana, could you roll to your side in a fetal position? And just pause there a moment. Need to get us back all on the same page. And then everybody come on back up into table. When you're ready, inhale cow. Exhale cat. Inhale cow. Exhale cat, lengthening this out a little bit more. Slow inhale, slow movement to cow, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Perfect. From here, it's that left foot that's stepping forward in lunge. Take your time coming down, using blocks if you need to. Remember, we want that front knee over the ankle if we can get it there. Set the back knee down, and you decide if you want to untuck the toes, right? What happens if you can't get the front knee over the ankle? That's when you know the blocks would be a fabulous friend to include, because it just gives you more space to get that leg forward. We're lifting the heart here. And then we're slowly pulling the hips back. Remember, we're going to try to leave the sole of the left foot down on the ground. If that's too tight for you, go ahead and lift the foot. You're listening to your body, not necessarily to me. Good job. Come forward into that lunge. Lift the heart. Maybe you take time to go inside the breath here. Pull the hips back slowly, lengthening that left leg. Good job. Slowly come back forward. Low lunge. Lift the heart. Deepen the breath. Where do you feel the breath now? For me, mine is just continually moving. Now I feel mine in the throat chakra, and there's no wrong or right answer. This time, as you slowly bring the hips back, we will come onto the heel of that front foot. Pull the left hip back. And then again, slowly coming forward. And those of you who want to come into pigeon from here, just wiggle that left foot across the mat to the right. You're setting that left knee down behind the left hand. And then it's the back leg that scooches backward to get you down as low as you can be. If you want to flip over onto your back, go ahead. If you totally know pigeon pose, find where you're comfortable. If you're new to yoga, stay with me for another second, because I really want to make sure your alignment is correct, especially since I can't see you. The most common mistake in pigeon is to tip into the hip of the bent leg in front. You don't want to do that when you balance, right? So remember, I said on the first side to keep the hips level, which might mean you take the hands to the earth and you literally push the ground away so you can get some height. And that's why a prop underneath the hip of the bent leg helps keep you level, right? You do not have to have that front shin parallel to the front of your mat. If you can get it there, that's fine, but that's pretty tough on the hip. And frankly, the older I get, the less my hip likes my leg that far forward. So you could take the foot in front and pull it towards the opposite hip. It makes it feel much better, right? You need that back leg straight. The kneecap should be down towards the floor. The ankle should be in a straight line. And from there, you determine where you want to head. You can stay seated. You could just bring your hands forward, come onto the forearms. And, you know, if it's afforded to your body, you could come into a fold. Completely up to you. But the alignment really is important. Stay here for a few more breaths. When you're ready, we're going to slowly come back into our hands. For those of us who are seated in pigeon, I do now want you to tip into the left hip. If you had a prop there, slide it out first, and then help that back leg swing around. If you are on your back, uncross the legs, rock a little bit so you can come back up to a seated pose. Perfect. I'm just going to stay seated. My hands are behind me. You can slouch into them if you want. They're just for support. Take the feet to the width of the mat. And we're just going to windshield wiper the legs a little bit. Now we're slowing this down. When the knees come into the up position, you're inhaling. And I know you've got a long, deep inhale in you, so this better be really slow. Exhale, knees travel down to the earth. Keep going. And then just make sure that you've done both sides evenly. When you're ready, we will end with the knees facing up. Give you another second. Okay, push your way back up. Grab your bolster or any other prop that you have, preferably not the block for this, but if that's all you have, that is totally fine. Bring that bolster, blanket, pillow, whatever, right behind you. What I am going to use the block for is to toss it out where my head might be in case I really hate being upside down when I get there. So I'm going to leave the legs up to you. You could keep them cross-legged in Sukhasana. You could take them to cobbler, but I'll caution you, if your hips are a little annoyed from pigeon, you might not want to be right here. Or you could straighten out the legs. You could even keep them bent. So totally up to you. We are coming into a supported back bend, so very carefully laying over the bolster, letting the head come to the earth. Your shoulders should be over the bolster. They really shouldn't be on it. And then if you get here and you are just hating this, grab your block, slide it under the head, see if that alleviates some of the back bend for you. If you still don't like it, come all the way up, turn the bolster vertically so you are completely supported from your low back to your head. Now, I want you to take your focus again to the breath, because the breath should feel really different when you are, upside down and in a back bend. So notice where you feel the breath. Go inside of the breath. Rely on those words, incoming and outgoing, if you need them. I also want to point out that you don't have to stay in this pose until I say move. If you're not happy here, you should go ahead and make a switch. So having said that, I think I've been holding a lot of my anxiety in my back this week. I'm not extremely happy right here. So for me, I'm going to bring my feet in, lift my hips up, and slide my bolster lower. So I'm going to end up in supported bridge. You stay wherever makes you happy, or make a switch as long as you're listening to your body, and that takes preference over what I'm telling you we might be doing, right? Couple more breaths here. And then I'm thinking, because this feels so good, I'm going to have you guys join me. So wherever your legs are, get your feet on the mat, knees facing up. You should be able to lift your hips and then slide whatever prop you have under your back down under the sacrum. Don't do that if you have something under your head. I need you to move that prop first so that your head and neck are flat on the earth. And then just coming into supported bridge for a moment. You might even want to find your balance on whatever prop you have under the sacrum and hug the knees in here. I'm thinking, yes, this feels really good. And so I'm just trying to give you tools to help with the anxiety. If you feel worrisome thoughts popping back in, tune me out. Go back to that five senses little, let's call it a tool, right? Open your eyes, look around for 5 things you see that are different from before, 5 things you feel, hear, want to eat, taste. If you've brought the knees in while the hips are balanced, you could send them up to the ceiling for a moment, or imaginary legs up the wall. So again, I'm giving you a lot of room to choose what's right for you. You can totally do something I haven't even said. Feel the muscles in the face softening, and perhaps another soft smile comes to your face because you are so close to Shavasana. wherever you are at. Strong inhale, hold the breath. Outgoing. Perfect. If you are in something similar to a pose I'm in, go ahead and rebend the knees. We're going to set the feet down. We all want to end up with the feet on the mat, knees bent, so that we can gently lift our hips and slide out whatever prop we were using. Come back down to the earth, hug the knees in one more time, and rock it out. Excellent. So now is your opportunity to grab anything and everything that you want for Shavasana and go ahead, set up your space, lay back on the mat, and close your eyes. Don't worry, I haven't dropped you off there yet. I just want you to get settled. Make sure the body is so happy. So with the eyes closed, I want you to scan through the physical body, just like we did when we started, and scan through the mental body. Because sometimes a lot of thoughts, and they don't even have to be anxious ones, it could just be a lot of thoughts, they get in our way of relaxation, right? And so we're going to need to let go of those thoughts and those tensions in the body so that we can find our peace. So if you find any spots, incoming, outgoing, move on, check the rest of the body. And then inhale, take a full breath. As you exhale, release any tension, release anything you need to let go of. Everything softens. You invite in peace. You invite in happiness. Deep inhale again. Exhale, softening even more. Letting go even more. Allowing the body to start to grow heavy. Another deep inhale. As you exhale, I want you to notice that the mind is becoming very calm. The mind is letting go. Another deep inhale. As you exhale, I want you to realize that you're in the process of allowing yourself to give up control if you haven't already. It's okay. It's more than okay to be happy right here in Shavasana. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Embracing peace. Last deep inhale. As you exhale this one, feeling that your tension is gone, that you are in a state of complete calm, serenity. And allowing my words to be yours if you don't mind. I am strong. I know that I am not my thoughts. I am not my anxiety. I am not fear. I can experience emotions like sadness, but I am not the sadness. I feel empowered over my thoughts and emotions. I feel vulnerable enough to acknowledge them, but not let them own me. I know that it is okay to take things one step at a time, and often one breath at a time. I remind myself the importance of staying in the present moment, and I know that I have the tools to do so. I am in charge of my breath, and I can slow it down, and I can deepen it when need be. My breath is an indicator to emotions I might not be acknowledging. But once I notice that, I have the strength to take my control back. I enjoy feelings of inner peace and calm. I know that is of value to me, and I am learning it's okay to stay there. I am healthy. I am peaceful. And I am welcoming and allowing in healing, light, and energy. Stay with that. I'll come back for you in a moment. You'll start to come back slowly as you take your next deep inhale. On your next deep breath, becoming more aware of your body. Still keeping your eyes closed. But on that next inhale, becoming more aware of your surroundings. It might be a sense of your surroundings, or you're hearing something. On your next deep inhale, becoming more alert. But the reason I want you to keep your eyes closed is because now I want you to do another scan. I want you to notice if you feel more relaxed than you did when we first started. What changes have occurred? What do you notice? And then take a really deep inhale, hold the breath. Send it out going. Bring some movement into the hands and the feet. And then I'm going to suggest you stay right where you are. There's no need to come up into a seated position unless you really want to. We're going to stretch the arms overhead. Big stretch. Fabulous. Inhale. Exhale, bring the palms together, release them to find your heart. Letting everything go. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me, and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.